I'm Snigdha from Bodhi, and today we're going to talk about relationships and love. Without a doubt, sometimes they are very toxic. For example, the mother-in-law who is never wrong. So whatever she says and does is always correct, and it's always the daughter-in-law who is wrong. So if you see mothers-in-law like these will never apologize, even if they've made a mistake. In fact, they will blame their daughter-in-law for mistakes that even their sons have made. She thinks this is how I am, and they have to accept me whether they like it or not. Now, the first part is fine. This is how I am. It's how she is. She believes she cannot change. She thinks she is completely fine. But then, you do not have to accept her for what she is. The next point is passive aggression. So, to your face and in front of others, she pretends that she is very nice. And often, the nice things that she's saying to you are laced with something which is mean and incorrect. And she wants you to get those hints. She wants to be very subtle about it without fingers being pointed at her. And the tone, the undertone is what you need to look out for. Sometimes it's just a suggestion, but you know when she's being passive aggressive and when it is a suggestion. Point 3. She's always trying to interfere in your husband and your plans, be it your travel plans or your financial matters. She's always there giving advice. Sometimes her advice does not work for you. It's okay for people to give advice, but it's always up to you and your husband to decide and make the decision without the influence of anyone else, and definitely without the pressure of anyone else or from anyone else. If you're staying in a nuclear family or you're staying only with your husband, then your kitchen, your bedroom is yours. No one has the right to come to your house and check your kitchen and your fridge and your bedroom and see if you're keeping it tidy or you keeping it the way they like. Of course, if you stay in a joint family and you have been aware that you're going to get married and live in a joint family, then there are some adjustments, especially when it comes to common areas like the kitchen and the dining hall, TV. So those expectations need to be discussed before marriage and stuck to before marriage. So it is very wrong if they have promised you something before marriage and then you live with them in their family and then they change what they have promised you. She tries to belittle your relationship with your husband. She thinks it's a competition and does not understand that a mother's place is very different and a wife's place is very different. If she has any insecurities about her son, she needs to address it with her son like a mature person and not take it out on you. If she takes it out on you and you can sense that she's being rude or manipulative, you have the right to stand up against her. Yes, it is important to respect people, whoever they are, be it elder or younger or whoever they are. But it is not acceptable to be bullied. And a lot of mothers-in-law bully, very subtle bullying. And this is what causes a lot of stress in daughters-in-law's lives, especially if they do not have the support of their husband. You do not have to disclose your personal matters to your mother-in-law if you are not comfortable discussing it with her or if you have to share your personal information with her. Now, I have heard of a few episodes where the husband shares things with his mother which concerns his wife. That is very wrong. If it concerns your wife and it's something personal to her, please do not share it if she's not comfortable. And please put yourself in her position. Would you like her sharing things with other people, your personal things? then please don't share it. She thinks just because she's his mother, that puts her on a pedestal. It's always the daughter-in-law who has to keep in touch first, who has to call, who has to message. And if the daughter-in-law doesn't do it, she will never make that initiative to message you or call you. And then she'll go on spreading rumors about you to her friends and her family. Now, we cannot stop her from spreading those rumors, and you cannot stop other people from believing those rumors. So what do? You do not care, because you do not care about people who don't know you well enough. What they think about you should not concern you and not bother you, and let her do what she wants. If you create a layer around you, you will not let her opinions or those other people's opinions get into your layer and affect you. When it comes to your child, you have the first right to make decisions for your child. It should be you and your husband. Nobody, no mother-in-law, father-in-law, mother, father can force you to make certain decisions for your child. Now, I heard this incident which happened where a mother was forced by her aunt-in-law to leave her 6-month-old baby alone at home, and said that she cannot come to the shop. The baby will not be allowed into the shop. And the mother was so uncomfortable with this, but she had to leave the baby at home because this aunt told her the baby was not allowed into the shop. And when she went into the shop, she saw that there were other babies and other children there. So she felt really angry and that she'd been made a fool out of. So what do you do in these situations? Be very firm with the person who's forcing you to do something you're uncomfortable doing when it comes to your child. In this case, I would have told the aunt-in-law, if my child cannot come with me to the shop, then I am not coming to the shop because I'm not comfortable leaving my child alone with somebody else. The next point is the mother-in-law emotionally tugs at the son and asks him indirectly to choose between her or his wife. And she says things like, you can never get a new mother, but you can always remarry. That's a very, very disgusting and wrong thing to do. Because no matter which relationship he's in, and even if he does remarry, the mother is going to have the same insecurities. In this case, a man needs to be strong and use his brains and see that his mother is manipulating him. He should never have to choose between his mother and wife. He needs to know that these two relationships are very different. And what does a mother-in-law want? Does she want her son to grow old by himself? In some cases, even when the daughter-in-law is mentally stable, the mother-in-law and the husband threaten to snatch their 1-year-old child away, which I've heard. Women, you all need to be aware of your legal rights. Nobody can just snatch your baby or your child away from you. So please, before you fall into the trap of being scared, speak to a lawyer and know what your rights are. I'm not saying that all mothers-in-law are bad and all husbands are bad. Yes, we also do have cases where a daughter-in-law has swindled the family out of a lot of property, or she's made false claims of abuse against the family. I know of all that. And this video is specifically for the mothers-in-law, in-laws, fathers-in-law, and husbands who are wronging their wives and daughters-in-law. And some of them just think that this is the way life is, and we have been through that and the girl has to go through it. But no, you need to change with times. Times are changing. Women are more aware. Women are financially independent, working at home, working in office. So no, we cannot live in the 1920s or the 1930s anymore. So I'm sorry if you have gone through that when you're young. That does not give you the right to put another woman through this. And on this note, I shall end this talk. Do DM me or leave your comments, questions, suggestions. Signing off. Bye.